Hey everybody, welcome back to Gastric Bypass 9 years later. Good news on the home front here. The loss of my job due to the late dumping syndrome has remedied itself. The doctors, the company doctors, the DOT examiners, got in touch with me about something else. And I just happened to mention, something about the, some possible cures that could work when I get my job back. And the doctor who this was the one who actually examined me, and he actually knows me. This guy is actually his name is on the building. This is his medical group that does all the DOT exams for the company I work for. I said, "Why are you out?" "All we needed was a letter from your doctor." And I said, "Well, I gave you that letter back in February. Your colleague said it wasn't good enough." And he said, I haven't seen that letter. He went back, checked my file, and it's not even in my file. So he said, "Give me a copy of that letter from your gastric bypass surgeon, your medical group." I said, "Sure, I'll go get it." Brought it to him the next day. He looked at it and said, "Yeah, this is fine. When do you want to come back to work?" I said, "Okay, this letter wasn't good enough back in February, but it is now." I didn't really say that because I don't want to tick him off. The guy's offering me my job back. So I'm going to go back at the end of the month. I can't go back. The reason I really can't go back now is I thought I was done as a truck driver. I thought it was over with. I was preparing to either retire, go on disability, permanent, I don't know what. Still was kind of in limbo. And, one of the things I did, my annual eye exam, I really hate wearing glasses. You see I don't have any right now. I usually do. I got contacts only just a few weeks ago. Figuring, I'm not going to drive a truck at night anymore. I'm not going to need them. Well, I do need them. In fact, I need them to even pass the eye exam for the DOT. So I had to go back to the optometrist and get glasses now. So they won't be here for another week, 10 days. So I can't even take the test then. So I've taken advantage to have some more physical therapy on the hand here, because I've been off I've been off work since October. I only went back to work for 10 days in February, at which time I also had my annual recertification for the Department of Transportation, so I could drive a truck, and I failed it. I was disqualified because of the hypoglycemia late dumping syndrome. So things are looking good there. Get to go back to work on July 31st. The stress level just dropped completely, all the way down to the bottom, because it has been pretty stressful, and things are getting messed up. I know internally with hormones, not having a thyroid gland and being artificially medicated now with Synthroid, kind of got out of whack. Actually, I went hyper at the time of surgery, and actually was having panic attacks while I was laying in bed on the medication after the surgery, about a week after. And I went to the doctor. "What's going on here? Is it the cast?" I had a little claustrophobia in the past, and I thought, oh, maybe I don't like the cast on. And I was telling him things. He was this is my GP. He's asking me things, and he said, "No, let's check something else. I want to check your thyroid." Thyroid? What the hell's that got to do with anything? Turns out it was actually pretty high. And they ended up taking me off. I take 2 pills was taking 2 pills. Synthroid, which is the T4 hormone, the storage, and T3, which is the active, or Cytomel, which is the T3, the active hormone. The reason I was on a dual dose, or dual compound, is it really helped with cycling. As you can see, my road bike is back on its trainer, so I've been trying to get my butt back in shape here, preparing to go back to work. And the last 9 months has been stressful. I put on close to 35 pounds. Haven't done that ever since the gastric bypass surgery in 2005. That's a pretty big weight gain, and I think it was just due to stress. Activity level, of course, went from endurance cycling to sitting depressed on the couch watching TV. And it wasn't a lack of exercise. It was just screw it. Give me some junk food. Seized candy became a friend. The funny thing about C's candy, maybe I shouldn't tell anybody this, but I would get sick off of Hershey bars, the cheap candies, not C's. C's never really got me sick. As I've said in past videos, my wife and I never experienced dumping syndrome, which is that almost immediate response to a high sugar load. Never had that. And it's a good thing that you get that. It keeps you from eating those foods. We never got it. With me, though, a few years after surgery, the late dumping. And but that's under control too. Just can't eat certain foods. And those foods, junk food. Let's put it, junk food, rice and potatoes. So it's not always junk food either. But that's under control. Hopefully, I'm not going to have to worry about it anymore. I can stick to the diet I'm supposed to be on, which is a low-carb diet, 50 carbs per day, sometimes less. Fat's a little higher than maybe what you were told to eat by your gastric support or medical group from your gastric bypass, and do what they tell you. Ours does prescribe the Atkins diet post-op, and it does work as long as you stick to it. It works for me riding the bike. Last bike ride I did back in October of 2012 was following a low-carb plan as prescribed by my doctors. And I did the whole ride probably with 15 carbs the whole day. That was a 100-mile bike ride. It was one of the best rides I had. And it was the last one I had. Unfortunately, that was because of the hand issues. So everything's looking good now. Next video, get more in depth about the diet. What we did the first few years and what we're really able to do now, my wife and I. And I'll just tell you about me. It's been pretty much easy going, really. It hasn't been tough at all. It's no regrets still having the surgery, and we'll go over what I eat in a day, and also a little tip on how you can do an informal test on what the current size of your pouch is. It's an easy thing to do. I learned it at a gastric bypass support group. So have a good 4th. Stay away from the junk food, and if you want to know other things too, put them in the comments section. If you want a question or anything, or especially any of you who had, because I would like to hear from you too. Any of you that have thyroid problems, in my case thyroidectomy from thyroid cancer, how that may have affected your appetite or your weight management. I do fluctuate a lot, and it does go with my levels of when I get tested every 3 months for my hormone levels, thyroid hormone levels, and it sometimes can get erratic. And I notice when I'm kind of low on thyroid, that's when the weight can creep up a few pounds, and I don't know if that's what it is, but I'd like to hear. That's kind of why I'm doing this. Kind of our own little support group out here. Let me know if anybody out there with thyroid issues is having problems, post-op, maintaining their weight or controlling their appetite, especially cravings for sweets. So everybody have a happy 4th. Try to get a video out next Saturday detailing the diet and how I use it to as my diet applies to endurance cycling. See you next Saturday.